Welcome to Non-Beta Alpha. I'm Ryan Morfin. On today's episode, we have Taleh Kazimov, CEO of Pasha Bank, the largest bank in Azerbaijan, talking to us today about the current conflict with Armenia and his views on global fintech. This is Non-Beta Alpha. Taleh, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on today.
Hello, Ryan. Thank you for the invitation.
You got it. Well, there's been a conflict, a war that's really started to play out over the last few weeks between Armenia and Azerbaijan. And I wanted to have you to come on the show to tell some of our viewers, primarily because it's not getting any media coverage in the United States right now, given the election. But I do think Azerbaijan is an important region for the world, energy production as well. And a lot of Americans don't know about the conflict that's going on. And so would you mind maybe going over a little bit about what's going on in the Azerbaijan region right now?
Currently, we are faced with a situation when how we call it a war, a patriotic war. And I don't want, before getting in details, I would like to address some information noise which we have in the media that can cause confusion and misunderstanding among the people who are not familiar about the actual essence of the conflict. So last conflict back in 30 years ago was started by Armenia. They used political turmoil in of Soviet Union, and particularly Azerbaijan, and occupied 20% of territory of Azerbaijan. And this unlawful act, I would call it occupation, terrorism act, ethnic cleansing, resulted in 20,000 dead people, 50,000 disabled, 4,000 people has been lost. We couldn't find them till today. 1 million refugees, IDPs, internally displaced people. And in 1993, United Nations Security Council, which I think one of the most important organizations in the world, adopted 4 resolutions, 822, 853, 874, and 882. This first resolution required immediate, complete, and unconditional withdrawal of forces, Armenian forces, from occupied territory of Azerbaijan. Unfortunately, this resolution still remaining on the paper. And today, our victorious army implementing this resolution on its own, unfortunately, by military way. As every year we had attacks from Armenia side. This year, 3 times in a row, Armenia attacked Azerbaijan on the state border. First attack was on July, and we had casualties among civilians and military personnel. Second, in August, they have sent a sabotage group, and we detained the leader of this group, and he gave the evidence and confirmed that this group has been sent to attack civilians. On 27th of September, another attack, and we unfortunately we have victims among the civilians and military personnel. And Armenia thought that we will restrain, but unfortunately for them, we said enough for this time, and that's how the war started, right?
And so this region, it's a mountainous region, I believe. This has been ongoing conflict for a while, and I believe, I guess, Russia's got a military base in Armenia, and they've been trying to, I guess, broker, since they're a neighbor of yours, broker some type of ceasefire. Is there current talks for a ceasefire? Is that something that is currently going on?
We had agreed on ceasefire 3 times. during this almost 40 days. And next hour after each agreement of ceasefire, Armenia, uh, by attacking our civilians and our territory and military personnel, cancels this ceasefire. And the response of Azerbaijani army is just to defend our land and to liberate from enemies our occupied territory.
So, I think this ongoing turmoil that's going on. Question for you is, how is this going to play out in your view? Do you think it's going to be a full-scale war, or do you think you're going to have to ask maybe some regional players like Turkey, Russia, the United Nations to send in peacekeepers? Because it's been going on consistently, and I'm trying to figure out like how do you guys see it playing out? What is the consensus in Baku?
And this is conflict between two countries, Azerbaijan and Armenia, and we don't expect third party to help, because we have been waiting for 30 years. As I said previously, since 1993, we have UN Security Council's resolution, and Minsk Group didn't achieve any progress in this conflict. Our position is straightforward. Our president announced it from the first day, that Armenia should present a reasonable schedule how they are going to withdraw their forces from occupied territory, and we are ready to stop immediately the war. Unfortunately, till today, we receive opposite decisions from Armenia side that they are going to fight. This is, for us, as I said, this is patriotic war, and we are liberating occupied territories of Azerbaijan. We tried to do it in peace way for 30 years. Okay, but unfortunately, we couldn't achieve anything, and help of third parties also didn't. We don't see. So this is conflict about Azerbaijan and Armenia, and we are not expecting that anyone will interfere.
Understood. RT, which is a Russian television, which is a foreign agent registered in the United States, is the only media outlet talking about this right now, and they're trying to paint this as a context of a religious war. And Azerbaijan is a multicultural, multi-ethnic country. Can you talk about if you view this as a religious war, why it's not credible to say that? And also, could you mention a little bit about, maybe Russia and maybe what their role is trying to instigate this as maybe a spillover from Syria or something?
Ryan, of course not. It's not religion war. And the reason why I'm smiling is I've seen all these days information in media, in TV, in the social networks that Armenia trying to present this war to the world as a religion war. Actually, it's definitely not the religion war. As you mentioned, Azerbaijan is multi-ethnical and multicultural country. Yes, predominantly population practicing Muslim faith, but we also have Christians. We have practitioners of Judaism, Krishnaites, Baha'i, and other religions. So if you compare to Armenia in 19th century, there were 8 mosques. Today it's only 1 mosque named Blue Mosque. And I believe they kept it for PR purposes. I don't believe that there's visitors there. But in Azerbaijan, we have 13 churches, 7 synagogues, 1 historical Albanian church. We have Armenian church, and you can Google the pictures. After pandemic, please come and visit. You will see how beautiful they are, how well maintained they are, and and you can also Google the mosques in Karabakh. under occupation of Armenia. They keep pigs, sheep, cows in our mosque. So it's definitely not a religious war from Azerbaijan side, definitely. I mean, maybe from Armenia side, it might, but not from Azerbaijan. We have 69 nationalities living with Azerbaijani population centuries in peace. We have 30,000 Armenian people living in Azerbaijan in peace. And you can ask me how many nationalities you have in Armenia. Armenians have no more than 4.
Well, and a lot of people here don't know that some of your best allies are Israel and Ukraine. You know, what is that relationship between Azerbaijan and Israel and Azerbaijan and Ukraine?
We are in very good relationship with Israel. We are partners, as with most of countries in the world. So we have support and friendship, brotherhood with Turkey. We have very good partnership relationship with Russia and with Ukraine, with Belarus. So as with many of the countries, we have very good and strong relationship with Israel too.
And a lot of people don't know this, but you guys have been part of the international community, but Armenia has been doing a lot of work and a lot of trade with Iran. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Iran is a partner of, is a big country and partner in the region. So as you can see from the media all these days, Iran is also supporting Azerbaijan in terms of the territorial integrity of Azerbaijan.
Well, this conflict has, started to bring to light, what I'd call the Caspian region and the importance of it for the energy markets. But from an economic standpoint, you're also the CEO, I believe, one of the largest banks, if not the largest bank in Azerbaijan. How has this conflict been changing or impacting the local economy?
It just only almost 40 days passed after this war started, and it's very difficult to say exact figures. But as any war, we have positive and negative side of the war. When it comes to negative part, war can impact on business confidence, business climate, investment flow, employment level, and budget cuts. In Azerbaijan, it's a little bit different picture. We've been waiting for this for 30 years, liberating our territories. The level of confidence, the level of unity, the level of determination of the business and population is very high. We are as you mentioned, we are the largest commercial bank in Azerbaijan, and we are mainly focusing on servicing the real sector of the country. We, on daily basis, we are on contact with our clients, partners. The level of confidence is very high. There is no step back. They are seeking for expansion opportunities, growth opportunities. When it comes to the employment level, we haven't announced the full mobilization. Azerbaijan has more than 100,000 professional army equipped with best-in-class military equipment and technology. So there is no need for full mobilization, and that's why impact on employment level is low. In terms of the budget spending, we increase budget spending. We're keeping by keeping the budget deficit on a reasonable level to support country due to pandemia, COVID impact. And in positive side, I think there are a lot of big opportunities. A lot of opportunities come to our economy. There are 1.7 million hectares of land of 155 types of mineral deposits like gold, copper, mercury, clive mines, and others. There are big water reserves, and we are going to use it to irrigate 100,000 hectares of land for agricultural purposes. Tourism is another story. This region, I believe, is one of the beautiful regions, and first of all, by nature, and second, by historical cultural heritage, and we see the big opportunity in terms of tourism. It will require definitely a lot of investment, because as we see after liberating several regions for last month, we see that Armenia destroyed everything. There is no even roof to place the flag, and it will require investment. But I believe as nation, we have been waiting this for a long time. And I believe every Azerbaijani citizen is ready to invest his last dollars, last manat, to rebuild this territory. And in mid-term and long-term, I believe this region will boost Azerbaijan economy.
And I guess an economic question for you. It's my understanding that a lot of the energy that flows through Azerbaijan, does most of it, the pipelines, do they go through Armenia or do they go through other pathways?
All goes through Georgia, mainly.
Goes to Georgia. Got it.
Main pipelines goes to Georgia, and Armenia is locked. Let's say they lost this opportunity, because that can be beneficial for them also if those pipelines were passed through their territory. But unfortunately, they're not in negotiation mode. Yeah. And by the way, these pipelines are very important for the Europe and for all energy security of the Europe. And this pipeline has been attacked by Armenians, and thanks to our army, we defended that. We have in Mengichevir, which is fourth largest city in Azerbaijan. We have one of the biggest hydroelectrical power plant, and it has been attacked too. So you can imagine the ecological and economical consequences if they would achieve their aim. So again, thanks to the army and defense, we managed to push back.
Yep. No, it's been very interesting to see kind of what happened between Saudi Arabia and I guess Iran, right? The attack in the pipelines, and Azerbaijan has a lot of critical pipelines, especially for Europe, as you mentioned. How is low energy prices? How is that affecting the economy of Azerbaijan today? And what is your view of energy prices today?
One of the hits which Azerbaijan economy faced this year was low oil prices at the mainly first quarter of 2020. And it's definitely hits economy and bring the pressure on the local currency. But due to proper monetary and fiscal policy of the country, we managed to keep stable our local currency and preserve our foreign currency reserves. Foreign currency reserves of state oil fund remained at 43 billion. We managed to increase our central bank's foreign currency reserves by 4% and reached 6.5 billion. That was a really tough period for us. But as I said, due to proper monetary and fiscal policy, we managed to avoid negative consequences of oil price decrease.
I did speak to some friends of mine in DC about the conflict, and they said that they were very impressed by the use of drones and the modernization, I guess, of the Azerbaijani military. Do you guys buy most of your weapons from Turkey, or are they bought from China? Or, do you guys do you produce your military weapons domestically? But I was told the Azerbaijani army is very strong.
It's one of the strongest army in CIS in terms of the technology, equipment, professionalism of the military personnel, and of course, in terms of the budget. We don't borrow these drones or any other military equipment as our neighbor Armenia is doing. We're buying this equipment, weapons, equipment, drones for particularly from Turkey, and other military equipment we buy from Russia, Israel. With from all our partners. It's not only drones, by the way, acting in the war.
Yep. No, there's artillery and tanks and such, but I think it's the first kind of, I'd say, usage of drone warfare that's playing out, and I know Armenia doesn't have drones, or at least they don't have this type of drones that you guys have, and so I think they're at a severe disadvantage. But which is, an interesting kind of view of the future of warfare coming out. As it relates to COVID, how is COVID being handled in Azerbaijan, and how has that impacted the economy? How is that changing banking, international banking, from your perspective?
It's not secret and surprise to anyone that negative impact of COVID to world's economy is tremendous, and the Azerbaijan economy is not exception. Our GDP as of September decreased 4%, 3.9 to be more precise. We managed to keep our inflation at 2.6%. As of July, our government debt was 9.8 billion, and it's around 24.5% to our GDP. As I mentioned before, our national wealth, state oil funds reserve, we kept it as more or less stable at 43 billion, and we have 4% increase in central bank reserves. Yes, total export decreased by 28%. Mainly due to oil price decrease, sharp oil price decrease. As you know, 75% of total export is crude oil. Import decreased 5%, but we managed to keep trade balance in surplus, 3 billion surplus. Now we have underperformer industries like construction, 9.6%, and obviously tourism and hospitality, 55.5%. But we also have overperformers like agriculture. We see 1.5% growth, ICT 2.7%, manufacturing 6.5%. But in general speaking, I would like to pay your attention that it's not only COVID impacting to our economy this year, it's also oil price decrease, global oil price decrease, and COVID, which consequences of COVID were increased in budget expenditures, in healthcare infrastructure, and support business and population. We managed very successfully, I believe. And third issue this year in our economy is actual war. So if you combine all these three, I think we managed very good in terms of when you look at 4% GDP decline. And in comparison to other countries, I think we have lower decline in GDP growth. And this is mainly because government started very proactively implement initiatives in diversification of the economy and rapidly respond to the crisis this year. And by 2020 results, I believe Azerbaijan will be in the list of less affected by COVID economies.
And you're the CEO of a bank, so what are your thoughts on Fintech? I know you guys have a digital laboratory. How is Fintech changing banking in the future?
Fintech, I think it's yesterday, it's not tomorrow already. And we as a bank in 2018 developed a digital laboratory, and we brought best-in-class consultants, and also we were able to build I think the very good team, which is very important, I think most important thing. And today 99.7% of Pasha Bank's customers, legal entities, and entrepreneurs interact with the banks through digital channels. All the payments, currency conversion, statement, all the transactional business goes through the digital channels. And I think with this indicator, we are we can be called as a first digital bank in the region. And all customers interact, 89% of all customers interactions today goes through digital channels. We were the first bank in the region who offered to the client a remote onboarding, KYC compliance process, and account opening, and that was accepted by clients very well. And today, 99% of new customers and new accounts opened online. I would like to underline once again that we are the largest commercial bank in Azerbaijan. So the volume of turnover of our clients through accounts in Pasha Bank, almost 30% of GDP, in amount of 30% of GDP. So
Wow.
we see is as a future, and we still continue to invest in digitalization, but our next strategy, which is 21-23, we will most focus on that data-driven business strategy. It will be more data-driven strategy, and we will invest in the data and in cybersecurity.
Taleh, you have a very cosmopolitan educational background: London, Harvard, Georgia, Azerbaijan. Who is doing fintech the best? Is it China? Is it Germany? Is it the U.S.? Is it just totally a diversified approach? Is there one region that you think is doing fintech for banking the right way?
I mean, China is a total different story because of the scale. First of all, there are a lot of bright minds there, and I think they are doing very good. What I would like to mention is also the Silicon Valley, US. So having these knowledge houses around, and also the infrastructure, I think in terms of the fintech, they are also at this stage the most leading part of the world in terms of the fintech. But I see other countries also coming up, like Turkey, Russia, same Germany, Israel is also very good. Yeah, UK is taking over also. So fintech is something like that everyone is interested and keen to invest and to expand.
It's a big growth area for our industry as well, and for our country. Changing a little bit, maybe your perspective on what's going on this side of the camera. What are people in Azerbaijan saying about the U.S. election now that it's passed, and kind of what I'll call the choppy waves or dislocation? What are your thoughts on what's going on from the view outside looking in?
Azerbaijan, I mean, we are interested in what country's nation is deciding on. I mean, we support what you as a country will decide about the election, and whatever will be the election results. So this is what U.S. citizen choose.
So in this season 2, we ask kind of this questions to all of our guests at the end of each episode, and they're usually yes or no kind of questions. And if you want to add more context, please feel free. But what type of shape of an economic recovery do you think we're in it globally?
Is it a V shape? Is it a W?
Yeah, what type are we in a recovery? And if so, what type is it a V, or is it a sideways L, a U?
More, at the beginning of the pandemic, we also, at least in Azerbaijan, we saw that it will take a couple of months, 3 to 6 months, and that's it. But as what we see, it's going back and coming back, and I think it will be more W shape.
W shape. Is there anything that you're particularly proud of this summer? Anything that you did, like read books, created new projects while over the summer?
Over the summer, at least we managed to protect ourselves from the COVID, and in the summer period we have peak in this for this virus in Azerbaijan, and we managed what I think for the summer, the most important thing to keep safe our team as a bank team, which is very important to us. We managed to support our clients in this very tough period of lockdown, and we keep our financial sustainability of the organization. That was very critical for the systemically important organization. I think all the focus all the summer was in this direction.
And a question for you, did you have a lot of your employees working from home, or were they just socially distanced at the office? How are people handling commercial activities during the pandemic in Azerbaijan?
All the digitalization which we are doing for the last 2.5 years helped us a lot. In the peak of pandemic in the summer, in overall, it's never been more than 20%. Those who are working at the premises. Remaining 80 was sent home and they're working remotely.
Oh, are there any reasons to be optimistic for the 2021 global economy?
Really, the situation which we faced this year, I mean, the pandemic situation, which it's like Pandora box. I mean, it's black swan, and we everything depends on how long it lasts. Everything really depends on how long it lasts. I really expect that vaccine will be in place next year. Yeah, and we will recover from the global lockdown environment, and industries will recover.
Is there anything that you're watching or reading or listening to that you'd like to share with our audience? Any books or podcasts?
Currently, there are two only things which we are following is U.S. elections and actually and our current situation at the conflict zone.
Oh, I understand. Is there any last comments you'd like to share with our viewers about the current situation and about the U.S.-Azerbaijani relationship?
About U.S.-Azerbaijani relationship, from the first day of our independence, we have very good relationship and partnering relationship, and we believe that for fruitful, prosperous future, this relationship should be strengthened, both on political and economical level. And I think this is the only way for us.
Well, we appreciate the U.S.-Azerbaijani relationship. We appreciate you coming on the show and sharing your thoughts. And we pray that your current conflict ends in amicable terms. And we hope that we can see you soon in the U.S. or in Baku. So, God bless and please be safe.
Ryan, thank you very much for this opportunity to talk to you and your audience. I once again want to underline that this is not religion's war. This is patriotic war to liberate our land, Karabakh. Nothing more and nothing less. And so, thank you very much again. Hope to see you soon in Azerbaijan or in US.
Thanks for watching on Beta Alpha. And before we go, please remember to like and subscribe on Apple Podcasts and our YouTube channel. This is Non-Beta Alpha. And now, you know.
Get busy time!
All price references and market forecasts correspond to the date of this recording. This podcast should not be copied, distributed, published, or reproduced in whole or in part. The information contained in this podcast does not constitute research or recommendation from Non-Beta Alpha Inc., Wentworth Management Services LLC, or any of their affiliates to the listener. Neither Non-Beta Alpha Inc., Wentworth Management Services LLC, nor any of their affiliates make any representation or warranty as to the accuracy or completeness of the statements or any information contained in this podcast, and any liability, therefore including in respect of direct, indirect, or consequential loss or damage is expressly disclaimed. The views expressed in this podcast are not necessarily those of Non-Beta Alpha Inc. or Wentworth Management Services LLC, and Non-Beta Alpha Inc. and Wentworth Management Services LLC are not providing any financial, economic, legal, accounting, or tax advice or recommendations in this podcast. In addition, the receipt of this podcast by any listener is not to be taken as constituting the giving of investment advice by Non-Beta non-Beta Alpha Inc. or Wentworth Management Services LLC to that listener, nor to constitute such person a client of any affiliate of non-Beta Alpha Inc. or Wentworth Management Services LLC. This does not constitute an offer to buy or sell any security. Investments in security may not be suitable for all investors. An investment of any security may involve risk and the potential loss of your initial investment. Investors should review all risk factors before investing. Investors should perform their own due diligence before considering any investment. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Investment products, insurance and annuity products are not FDIC insured, not bank guaranteed, not insured by a federal government agency, may lose value.